Hey, everybody, welcome to Not a Cigar Show, episode 473. It's not really episode 473. I'm just going to make shit up because I said I would never do a cigar show, and I'm not doing a cigar show. So I will make it up, whatever episode I want, whatever. It could be episode squirrel. I could name it whatever I want. But so the whole purpose of the show, which is about not a show, has evolved into me just sitting around and smoking with people that I know or want to know, and just super cash. My guest on Not a Show today is Lauren Koper.
Yes.
And I had to be, in my brain, I had to make sure that was right. She's the national sales executive and community manager from Micallef Cigars. You've probably seen her all over social media. You've seen her pop up at events. And I'm excited to hang out and just talk to you for a little bit and get to know more about you and have everybody else get to know more about you. So welcome to Not Really a Show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me on here. So this is nice. Nice,
yeah, right?
casual afternoon conversation.
Yeah, we picked one in the afternoon. I live in Florida. I don't know how good a move that was. We'll see. It's not hot out right now, surprisingly, but that usually means storms.
So. Yeah, no, it's hot as shit here in Texas right now. So
we
are in the throes of summer.
Where are you in Texas?
I live in the DFW area.
Okay.
North, yeah,
So I have family there. As a matter of fact, I'll be there in 2 weeks, I think it is. But my sister wants me to move there all the time. And I'm like, you have like 2 good days of good weather. It's either, like they're calling up, going, hey, we've been over 100 degrees for, 90 days in a row. And I'm like, this is not a selling point.
You know what? To be fair, I'm a Midwest baby. So I grew up in the Chicagoland area where it was like all the snow and the cold weather.
I'm from Wisconsin, right up the street.
You know what? I still will trade Texan weather over Chicagoland area every day of the week. So I think it's a fair trade-off.
It is. Winters suck. And I mean, you're from up north. I'm from Wisconsin. You're from Chicago. You could get snow in October. You could have snow on Easter Sunday. And it just, it's fun when you're little, but it gets old. It's
a crapshoot 100%. Like you're rolling the dice every month in terms of like, even in March, it can still have like freak blizzards. So I don't miss the snow. Every time I see it, I do get some relevance of PTSD. So I just, as soon as I moved away from Illinois, I didn't want to come back.
Yeah, I moved away from Wisconsin once I knew we were actually allowed to move away. I didn't know that was a thing for a while. So
people don't leave my hometown either. So yeah, I got out.
Yeah. I like to visit it. I like to go there, visit, and then tell everybody like, see ya.
No, I only visit during the summer. That's it.
Wow. Good move. So let's just start. I mean, let's talk about a few things cigars anyway in the beginning here. Your journey into the cigar has been pretty unique. I mean, you're like me. You're Midwest, pretty much not known for tobacco fields and factories up there. Pretty much didn't grow into it, wasn't our DNA. Tell us a little bit of how you first even got interested in cigars.
Well, so I've been smoking cigars a long time. Like I want to say it's like over 13 years at this point. Kind of started when I was like, I want to say I was like 22, 23 when I started smoking cigars. And my journey was, I don't even know, there wasn't like this hard press where it was like sold to me completely out the gate. I would just go to beer festivals and they had a cigar tent there. And I was like, sure, I'll try it. And I tried it and I liked it. And I started ordering them off of online, and then I walked into my first cigar lounge ever. I remember it. It's La Vida Cigar Lounge. It's in St. Charles. And I just fell in love with like the vibe of it, like just having a conversation, the culture. It was just like a fun place for me to go. Like, well, I was poor as shit. So like I would smoke a cigar maybe like once every 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
To myself. So I guess I really fell in love with the social aspect of it. And then, you start moving around a lot. And anytime I would move to a different city, you get your gym, you get your grocery store, and then you have to get your cigar lounge. And so I've been doing that for a long time.
You lost me at gym, but I understood the grocery store cigar lounge about. Do you like remember your first cigar? Like I don't. I feel like that I'm supposed to make up a story now at this point because I get it on a lot of shows that I'm a guest on. They're like, hey, do you remember your first cigar? And I'm like, I don't. I need to make up a good backstory.
No, I don't really remember like my first cigar I necessarily smoked. I remember like the first one I started to like it was like Monte Cristo Platinum Series, Rothschild. Like I would smoke that one a lot. And then when I started going to the lounge, the guy that was working there was like, Lauren, you can smoke so much better and cheaper too.
Right,
So that
right,
was like the
right.
beginning of my education into becoming a cigar enthusiast.
So what? So you're in it. I don't want to skip right into Micallef right away. So what's the transition? Where are you building now? So you're smoking cigars, you're
Mhm.
enjoying them, and then what?
Well, I lived in California for a bit. So I think I lived in California for about like 5 years, and I was doing industrial sales. So I was in sales, and
Wait. Hold on. Don't just skirt over that. Industrial sales of what? What is
I was
this?
I was selling gate operators and garage door operators to it was
Okay.
B2B, so businesses
Okay.
that
All right.
I work for a
Okay.
manufacturer, so I guess like
Okay.
working for a manufacturer is like a common, I guess, trajectory of profession. So I was working for them and I sold to companies that professionally installed our product. So I did that for a bit. And then COVID hit and as it does, as it did. And I was in a relationship at the time and he was living in Texas. So I decided I was going to move to Texas, got my bonus, quit my job, and then I kind of had to figure out what I wanted to do next in terms of professionally.
Right. All
And
right. So now you're in Texas,
mhm.
and you figured that I'm not going to sell garage door openers any longer. I don't even know what that sale looks like. Like, hey, our chains are better. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that would look
I
like.
mean, I still know probably useless information that I don't even use anymore. Like I can drop it into conversations to make my sound smart.
Oh my God, please do
Like
that.
AC and
Yeah.
DC, jack shaft, trolley operator.
Right. You're
So
on chains. Oh, it's all belts nowadays. What the heck? Yeah, I don't know. I know nothing about garage door openers.
uh so I
All right.
decided,
So
well,
you're in Texas.
yeah, and quarantine was lifted a lot quicker than most states were. So as soon as quarantine was lifted, I started kind of searching for a job, and I was like, well, I always like cigars. Maybe I can just, see if I can get into that just for fun. And luckily at the time, financially, I was in a really blessed position to kind of
Hmm.
start from the ground up. Like money wasn't like a really pressing issue for me at the time. So Cigars
Right.
International, they were opening up a new location in Fort Worth. So I put my hat in the ring there and I got hired and I helped open up that store and I worked in the humidor for about like 10 months. And then Al Micallef kept coming in and I just kept talking to Al Micallef and became friends with him. And then he offered me a job. And so now I've been working for Micallef Cigars. My quick
Right. Right.
my origin story.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, look, I mean, you get into the industry, like you said, you don't need to make money in the beginning, which is a
Mhm.
good thing to remember throughout this industry because you're not going to get money. So it's not just the beginning. I mean, you came in with how we'll probably all go out in it, but you do it because you love it and you found something. So now you're the national sales executive and community manager. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
don't know
kind of
what
have
that
like a
is. I saw it on the bio or something like that. So
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have like a many hats at this company. I've done it all. Like I've done community customer service, I've packed orders, I've done inside sales, and I'm kind of just like slowly finding my seat at the table. So, community manager, I do a lot of stuff with our Micallef Ambassador group, and then I do some marketing. I've really committed this year into doing outside sales. So that's what I'm primarily doing right now. So I'm kind
right,
of making it up as I go along.
right,
Which,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you walked in. It was interesting. So it's a brand that, and we'll talk about the brand specifically a little bit later. It's a brand that to me it was grinding the way every other brand tries to grind, and it's like, how do I get attention? How do I get seen out there? It's like there are so many good cigars, and everybody's vying for the same space and things like that. And one of the things that I think that was kind of a breakout, one in addition to how you guys handle your portfolio and stuff, I think was very good. Um, During COVID was kind of a breakout thing on the ambassadors, even more so. Like ran with the show for a while. Really went for the ambassador thing, which is interesting because most people go for the ambassador thing way late in the game. Like they're already
Mhm.
big and we want ambassadors, or they do it so early, but not in an organized fashion. They're just like, hey, we just want people out there to talk about our cigars. And it has a disconnect. You actually that you built an ambassador program that connected with actual people that became ambassadors.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I mean, you look at the entire cigar industry, like we're really in the people industry. I mean, and cigars are just second. And you'll look
Sure.
at very successful retailers. I always say the most successful retailers out there are the ones that are building community as opposed to
Hmm.
just being a cigar shop or cigar lounge. Like you'll go to
Hmm.
those good examples and you see they have such a strong network and relationships with their customers because they built that good culture and community behind it. So now the COVID renaissance was kind of I came in at the tail end, but I
Right.
know that Dan and Amanda saw the value in building a community. So you build a community first, you build your customer base, get people involved and get them in engagement. Engagement is huge. That's when people are really responding to your brand, and then you start taking off with the brand. So I believe that was their vision, and from my experience, that is the true vision.
So how do you keep them engaged? I mean, so the thing with cigars is I find interesting is that, there's so many good ones out there, and I'm glad that we're for the most part through the whole LE what's new. It's not to say some people don't do it,
Mhm.
but you talk to a person that's like they smoke, cigar XYZ, and then they don't smoke it for 6 months, and someone says, "Hey, I thought you smoked XYZ," and they're like, "Oh, I forgot about that cigar."
Mhm.
How do you stay engaging to these groups and not? I mean, because once you're into 30 posts, you're just kind of like, okay, I'm talking about the cigar. You're not releasing cigars every 5 minutes. So how do you keep them engaged?
Well, I know from what I've witnessed and seen, Dan Thompson, president and of Micallef Cigars, he's really good at engaging with ambassadors individually and
Hmm.
collaborating with them. So, we'll send out samples of, beginning products and blends to certain ambassadors that, really
Hmm.
take ownership of their role in the ambassador community. And we
Hmm.
do listen to their opinions and their insights on things. So I think that's what's important. It's basically valuing that relationship and treating them
Hmm.
as important as they are because they are our customer base.
I feel like Dan would be really hard to rein in. Like I like years ago at a show, he calls me over this like, "Hey, let me show you something." And I didn't have Cigar Press Magazine then or anything like that. I don't even know if I had my brand. I don't even know what I was doing then. And he's just like, "We're doing this, and we're doing this, and we're doing this, and then I've got this rolling out, and this is the things I got in the back burner." I'm like, "Dude, focus." Is that the energy nonstop in that organization? And you got to like, what are we running
Yes,
with?
yes and no. I mean, you always
Yeah.
have because like you're always trying to see what works and you're very
Right. Right.
experimental with it. And not
Right.
everything works all the time. Sometimes we'll try out something and it's not working out, so we'll retire it and move on to the next thing. So I imagine because of that, and to keep a business rolling, it's like a shark, right? It has to keep moving or else it's
Right.
gonna
Right.
drown and die. You always have to have several projects and different kind of ideas out there to see what works, see what sticks and doesn't.
Yeah, and you guys seem to be able to move pretty fast. You have an
Mhm.
idea, you move fast on it.
But we're a small company too, so that's
Right,
a blessing
right.
as well. I mean, I don't have to like, go up through because I've worked for corporate America. You have to go through all these sections of the
Right,
company
right, right.
and then the hierarchy and everything. Like we're all like, I mean, I always joke around, like I have more than one boss. It's not just like one or two, it's like five of them. Like
Right.
everyone's my boss at this point.
Do you feel that Micallef is boutique, or how would you define it as boutique, or how do you even define boutique? I mean, is it what do you think is the difference in Micallef cigars versus say another cigar with the same amount of years and stuff behind it?
I mean, we are definitely a smaller brand. So I would still
Hmm.
definitely consider ourselves boutique. And it's not necessarily about usually they define the a boutique by how many cigars you produce in a year. That's usually their
Hmm.
definition of such. Like I don't. I feel like it's really like the attitude of the customers that you're dealing with necessarily. I mean, because I do outside sales. So as a smaller brand, it can be a tougher sell because you're
Hmm.
trying to convince these retailers that they should want you and necessarily need you. I mean, there's bigger brands out there that are kind of like call them legacy brands, or they
Hmm.
just like Drew Estate, for example, they have like the intense infused market. So they pretty much have a monopoly on that. So a lot of retailers are willing to be flexible, always have them in their humidor. As a smaller brand, you have to fight for that shelf space every day and you have a very small margin of failure. Like you
Hmm.
can't fuck it up at all. Like
Hmm.
you can't
Hmm.
show up late. You have to promise what you deliver. You have to be consistent. You always have to be in their their foreground because they're going to forget about you. So that's what I consider boutique, honestly.
No, it's funny. You're the first person I've heard echoed what I said years ago. Is that two things? One is that you can't afford to make mistakes.
No, not at all.
A big
Oh,
brand puts out a bad cigar, everybody's like, yeah, okay, they didn't get a hit on there. They got 17 more coming out this month. And then the other thing is, I believe 100% that boutique is more a mentality than it is. I would argue that Drew Estates to some extent is still somewhat boutique. I would argue that to me, the real defining line of boutique is the moment you make a decision on a blend based on profit and not on putting out your best product, that's when you're no longer a boutique. Boutiques don't get a get out of jail free card. You have to put out your best product possible because you do not get another chance on a lot of these. You haven't earned the right for another chance.
And you have to hit all like the expectations of what they expect out of a good brand, like good blends, good prices, good package design, like all that other stuff, and then good customer service too. Like you have to.
They want everything.
I noticed too the expectations to what they demand out of me as a smaller brand. They're not asking the bigger brands to do that. So then you also have to, like, you're like, come on, we're still small. Time.
Yeah. Well, so and so will do this. Okay, so and so doesn't even have a rep, so I'm calling bullshit that they actually do that. So you're on the road now. You're doing more on the road. You were on the road before, but you're doing more on the road. Just give me a horror story. Like what's happened so far this year? Like you were on the road and you're like, oh my god, because people don't realize. People think the road life is great. They think it's just like, oh, you show up at an event and you're handing out cigars and you're partying, and they see that they see social media posts. And they don't realize, and I said this on somebody else's thing the other day, if we get to stay in the same hotel 2 nights in a row, that's a win. Like I can leave my luggage here. So, they don't see when you show up for an event at night that you were at 6 shops during the day grinding or whatever to get to there. They don't see that you're looking at your clock and you're like, well, I got to leave here at 3 to make it at my event. Well, go down to Houston. I mean, first time I was down at Houston, I did an event and I'm finishing up meeting at somebody at 4 o'clock. And my rep is like, hey, we got to get over to the shop. And I said, our event's not till 6. I said, we got 2 hours. He's like, yeah, it's like 10 miles away. I'm like, what, I mean, tell me something. Are you liking the road life? Something good, something bad?
Yeah, I don't really have necessarily like horror stories. I feel like I have like some difficult conversations I have to have with retailers sometimes or try to get into them. I think a classic example, I walked into this one shop and essentially, and this is a struggle of also being a smaller brand, I feel like a lot of retailers do treat you like you have this level of beggar's mentality. That you'll do anything just to give an opportunity to be in their shop. And he said to me like, well, he's like, well, you'll just have to be consistent and show up all the time. And I'm like, yeah, well, that's sales, so that's a given, right? And then he presented an opportunity for me to do a cut and light, and I was like, great, cut and light. So you want to put in maybe a small order? We'll see how it does well with your customers, and if it does well, bring us in. And he's like, oh no, you're gonna do it for free. And I looked at him and I was like, sorry, but I'm here to make money, so I'm not here to do it for free. And I didn't probably word my response maybe as tactfully as I could have, because like I was kind of taken aback by it.
I've never heard that.
I've heard it. I haven't personally heard it, but I've heard other reps said like some retailers will do that to them. And I was like, no. And I was like, well, how about, do you have a good lounge culture? I don't mind coming in, connecting with your customers, passing out samples. And because like, it's based on their customer, right? To bring us in. Right. It can make one or two people can make or break a brand within a humidor. And he's like, no. I was like, can we compromise? He's like, no, there is no compromising.
Wow.
That was me. And I was like, well, I gotta go then.
I feel like the only answer is, hey, I'm going to come in here and smoke about 20 cigars and see if I like this store. I'm not going to pay for the cigars I smoke off here. I'm going to see if I like this store. And if I like this store, I'll come back. Wow, that's a good, I don't think I've heard that one. I'm
pretty sure people heard it, but maybe they don't want to say it. And I mean, from a standpoint from working with a manufacturer, if I feel like my product is at the point where it's okay to give it for free for like that. It's like I'm really cheapening my product, and I believe in my brand too. Like
Right,
I sell
right.
great cigars, and we're at good price points and everything. So it's not a big ask to like maybe put in a small order and see how well it does then. But yeah, I thought that was a very interesting.
Well, look, they're not. That's the interesting thing is, you get the retailers like, well, I don't know if I don't want to lose money. I'm like, okay, one, you're not going to lose money. Like most of us will say, look, before you blow it out, I'll buy back the cigars. You put in a small order, I'll just
Yeah,
buy
yeah,
back the cigars.
return them.
Yeah. What? Otherwise, it's like, okay, how are you going to lose money? You bought a cigar for say, $7 a piece. You marked it up to 14. You put them in a basket for $10 a piece or whatever, and because you're blowing them out, take the bands off, whatever. You're going to sell them. You're not going to lose money on the cigar. So it's just it's interesting. When I first started going on the road, everything I thought about retailers was wrong. Like I just assumed they like all knew their numbers and all knew like what they had to do. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great retailers out
Oh
here.
no,
Anybody
definitely. Well,
watch
luckily,
anybody watching this clearly must be a great retailer. But the others, we're talking about the other people.
well, no, and that's the thing too. When you have a little bit more skin in the game, I have great relationships with customers that are super nice and they're super easy to work with. And so like when you have that experience and then you start to indulge in these type of conversations, you see the comparison, you're like, nah, maybe we're just not a good fit at the end of the day. And that's also
Right,
another lesson to learn when you're out there. You don't have to sell to everyone. Not everyone's going to
right.
be a good partner. Not everyone's really going to believe in your product.
I think that's a great point because I think that you don't need 1,000 stores. You
Mhm.
really only need 200 that are really behind your brand. 2 to 500, 300. I mean, the small shop that has a very small humidor can move a lot of your cigars. As opposed to a giant humidor. So that yeah, you're right. You need partners, and I think the person that wants to bring in the super small order, to your point, it doesn't show a commitment. Like if I
Mhm.
walk into a store and I see one or two boxes of a brand, I kind of think that's brought in for the one guy in the lounge that really wants those cigars. And I see 5 of these and 10 of these and 15 of these and stuff like that. You know, Having real estate becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The other person goes by and go, wow, there's 5 different, sides of these or five
Yeah.
different lines of these. I should try this.
Exactly. And a lot of bigger brands have like the flexibility of doing that and demanding shelf space and certain amount of facings on
Wow.
there in
Yeah.
order to create that effect. So that's another conversation as well, as opposed from a bigger brand to a smaller brand. As a smaller
Yeah.
brand, we're still pretty easygoing to work with because we understand we're not a one size fits all. Certain vitolas are not going to do well at other locations, and some blends are not going to do well at other locations. So, we're
Right.
trying to be retail friendly and to basically set them up for success with the right products that will match well with them in terms of sales.
Good. That's good. Let's talk about your social media
Yes.
because while you're on the road, you post the craziest things. I mean, just off the wall. Well, one, I mean, some of your videos were absolutely crazy. Entertaining as all hell. What are you doing?
What do I do?
What are you doing? Are you just having fun out there, or what? I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm having fun. I it's like I don't know, I don't take myself too seriously and I like to
right?
have a good time. Like the cigar industry is a fun industry to be a part of. And also too, I did realize there's kind of a hole in terms of like representation and women in the cigar industry. Like the women in the cigar industry are either super sexy or they're super serious. Like there is no in between whatsoever. There's not really a good representation of like the many facets we can like
Yeah, I feel
showcase
like you
in.
didn't. I feel like you didn't get the memo on what an Instagram cigar woman's supposed to be. I feel like, and that was, by the way, very nice of you to say super sexy or super. What was the
Serious, serious, just
spirit? Yeah,
like
I
button
feel like
up.
I feel like sexy could have been chosen a little lower. I feel like you kind of cut out. You were very nice in that. Yeah, look,
Well, I mean,
we've
to
all.
be fair,
I,
I mean, that's
I get
engagement,
it. I
right? That's
get
like
it.
instantaneous engagement. And
I get it. If I come back, I'm coming back as a woman that has big breasts and very small clothes, and I'm getting an Instagram account and I'm smoking cigars. But it is what it is.
yeah, so like I thought it'd be, just I guess like you can be sexy, but also be fun and just,
Right, right.
and I mean serious when it counts, but then goofy at the same time. And also too, humor does resonate with a lot of people. It creates a lot of
Oh,
engagement.
sure, sure.
And I like to think I'm a funny person, so I don't mind
Right,
bringing that up to the foreground for people to witness it.
right. No, I think you handle it very well. I mean, I gravitate towards humor anyway. And like I don't want to appear to be bashing people that have a niche with that's the pool shots and all the other stuff. If that's your market, that's your market, and that's okay. Um,
It's very limiting though, and it has a
well,
shelf life to it.
it does. Yeah. I also feel like I'm less inclined to buy a cigar because someone has a cigar by the pool and that's how they're selling it versus somebody that's just having fun and then also sometimes serious talking about cigars and sometimes is having fun. It's very different, but I understand there's a market for everybody on there. I think what you do is better for women in the cigar industry than that other category. I think that
Mhm.
there is a barrier. There aren't too many, female-owned brands, and I know several women in the industry that are smarter than a ton of the men in the industry that don't get that credit. So I think the way you do it, but look, we all smoke
At the
cigars
same
because
time, like this is my only criticism, not like specific women, but like the ones that like
right,
I want to be taken so seriously and this is who I am. And at the end of the day, it's such a buzzkill. Like no one wants to hang out with that person. Like I don't. Like I curse like a sailor. I have a gutter, form of sense of humor. Like I'm not gonna do
right,
that. That's not my niche. That's not who I am. That's not my brand.
right.
I'm not even gonna I don't, they have their, but it doesn't give women a lot of options to have more variation to them either.
Right. It's very freeing just being yourself.
Mhm.
Like not the perception of what you think the industry wants or what you have to be in that industry. It's very freeing to just go, look, this is how I am. I mean,
Yeah.
when I had a brand and I went out there and I'm like, look, I'm going to share everything that I do right and everything I do wrong, and here's how I completely screwed up a blend. I mean, it's just like and it's refreshing when people talk like that because it's real.
Yeah. And then also, too, I mean, being a woman in the cigar industry is kind of a blessing because you're not part of the boys' club. So you almost have an invitation to do things a little differently than them because you're not so caught
Right,
up in fitting in with them either. Like at the end of
right,
the day, like I'm like, I mean, I don't get invited to certain things or I'm not included in some of these conversations. And when the beginning, I thought it was a little isolating at first, and I was like, yeah. But then now it's just like, well, I could just do whatever the fuck I want because they're not going to accept me anyway. So I'll just
right. And then you get invited more.
try. I'm trying. I'm trying.
I'm gonna have
I'll be at the cool kids table one day. I swear.
that's let me know how it is. Kids table is way more fun. All right, I'm gonna share my screen and share some photos from your Instagram here. A typical you know pose of something you might do that's just for the hell of it.
Like my
And
Steve Saka
now,
series.
okay, but what I've done is I've picked three of your photos, and I want you to judge me on my ability to become a Lauren Instagram model.
Actually, that's a pretty
That's
good point.
photo one. Now, okay, pretty damn hard to sit in chairs. Like I know that type of chair you're in, that is not easy. I mean,
No,
that takes work.
it's actually kind of beat up too. You could say it's like kind of falling apart, but maybe that's like a good indication it's a good quality chair because it's been through a lot. So, well, it's
I
watch it. I say this now and it's gonna fall apart tomorrow.
I was thinking that was a lot of failed attempts at this and the chair got knocked around a lot. I have a whole backstory in my head on here. All right, so here's another one. This is the classic scale a wall.
Yes, I did that.
That's actually a very cool shot. It
Yeah.
is. All right. And I could not find as big of a wall. So that's all I got.
It was it was a valiant effort. It's all
And my
about
wife said,
camera angles too.
yes. And I realized that's not a flattering camera angle for me. I'm learning that. Okay. And
Oh,
here's the
dude, I
last
have
one.
so many garbage photos, 100%. One wrong angle, I look like a Muppet, so I have to be careful.
Is that your car?
No, that was at Two Guys
Oh,
Smoke Shop in Salem. One of the guys had like I forgot what I don't really know cars. It was like a vintage car, and he was like, "Lord, you got to pose on this." It was well my ongoing well actually it's a one person pose off with Steve Saka, so I just keep
yes.
supporting him.
Which was we'll get to I'll talk about one. I got one more photo. So here's my answer to your car shot. I was really worried about denting the hood of the Jeep, so I just kind of like laid the other way because I could not pull it off the same way you did it. So,
Do you have someone
uh,
taking photos?
oh yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. My wife took the photos. That was my attempt to see if I have it, and clearly I don't. So you're just gonna keep that market. I don't
You're
have
doing a
that.
lot better than Steve Saka because he hasn't even
So tell
reciprocated
the
at
story.
all.
Tell the story because this is actually pretty funny.
Well, I mean, I've always just like played around with like, posing and especially in my office at work. And so I posted one. I think I had like my feet up or something. And
It was
Steve
on the
was,
desk. You had your feet up on the desk. It wasn't even shouldn't have been that hard of a pose for him to replicate.
and he's like, "Oh, I should totally replicate this and make it a meme." And I was like, "Huh." I was like, I took that to heart and I waited like a month and I had no reciprocation from him. So then I just posted another like more ridiculous. And then he did a formal, I'm going to do this. And
Right.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting, Fred. I'm waiting
He
for his
still hasn't done it. He still
yeah,
hasn't done it.
and I can't let it go. I just cannot let it go into the
No, I
night
jump in when
yeah.
anytime you mention it, I jump in and go, he hasn't done that yet because I know he hasn't done
No,
it yet. And
not
I'm like,
even
okay, good.
one. And he
No,
has
no.
people. They could like pose him like and take
He
a
has
picture.
people. Saka is big enough to have people.
I am a one woman show here. Like this is
Right.
all me.
Right. Should somebody take those photos, or did you like set up a tripod and
I'm
like
a
people are
tripod.
walking by? Do you?
Yeah.
Oh wow. So you've got the 60-second window, or what do you how do you
Sometimes I use a remote, sometimes not.
okay.
Like some of them I had to like rush back in within 10 seconds and like or like I'm rolling around
And
on this chair in my
look
office.
cash.
I do have a window in my office and like some of the pictures like of my bosses will probably walk by like we don't know what she's doing. And today I did like a bikini shot. I did bikini photo shoot, but I decided to add like a Steve Saka handicap because no one wants to see him in a bikini, unfortunately. I mean, I'm all about body positivity, but not everyone is. So I
Yeah,
put
no,
the
yeah. I mean, I'm positive I don't want to see Steve Saka in a bikini. Yeah.
yeah, but I put the bikini over my clothes, so I was making it fair for him to participate.
I mean, Steve Saka has dressed up in drag, so I
Oh,
think that he.
what? I need to see these pictures. I haven't seen any of these.
Oh, I'll send you the photo.
I feel like
So, yeah, if you're willing to do this, I think you can match one of Lauren's poses, Steve Saka, if that's your real name. It is his real name, so that wasn't even dead went nowhere. So tell me, so what is an ideal like downtime for your cigars? I mean, still cigars. What's your is it sitting in a lounge? Do you just want to sit on your patio and like nobody around you?
it's like I think it's like a mixed bag. I mean that's the beautiful thing about cigars, right? You can either be a very solitary experience or it could be a very social experience. I think I'm more of a social smoker. I think I've always have been. I usually go to the lounges just for the opportunity to have conversations with things or with people. And so for me, I rather go out and go to a lounge and sit and have conversations with people. I do it as
Mhm.
for work now, so I do get a lot of that.
Right,
So I don't
right,
usually smoke a lot of cigars in my off time unless opportunity allows. But
right. So tell me something not cigar related that excited you. Something you did lately or something that happened to you that was just exciting for you that was not related to cigars.
not really. I started shooting guns lately.
Okay. All right.
Texas now.
Yeah,
It's
you're
more
in Texas. You have to. It's
yeah.
pretty much the law.
Yeah, that's something I'm starting to do more. I mean, it's also to a kind of like a personal safety issue as a woman as well.
Right,
I'm like
right,
36. I've been like rolling the dice for years on, well, a lot of women are educated about their personal safety. It should be a strategy of avoidance, like you just avoid things, and you can't always avoid
right,
things. Um,
right.
I moved into a new apartment complex like in December, and I had a very creepy gentleman that left a note on my car.
Oh, okay.
It said, I want you, but I can't find you, and then phone number, and then his name. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
that was the
Yeah.
main inspiration for me. It's like, I got to get a gun. I have to learn how to shoot guns. I need to
Was
have,
that how Dan hired you, or you were already working for Micallef? Because I'm just
I
seeing
was
where
already,
this is
this
going.
happened like just,
Okay. Okay. Good. All right.
oh, yeah.
That wasn't how they hired you. Okay. Good. That's better. All right.
I mean, I've had men leave notes on my car before, but it's usually a lot nicer. Like, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
you're kind of cute, whatever. But like, I was like, we're not doing
Yeah.
that.
No, that's stalker creepy. I mean, it's funny. So I used to shoot guns, and my wife and I got into archery,
Oh, fun.
and archery's like the coolness of guns, but not the noise and not 50 cents every time you pull the trigger.
Yes.
And so, so I was going to say, when you started the story, I'm like, oh, you should try archery. It's kind of cool. It's just kind of this cool vibe. And then I realized that, yeah, probably not the best for personal safety. Like, you probably don't have time. Like, hang on, hold on. Can you stand back a little bit? I can only shoot at 15 yards. Yeah, so that's probably not going to be your best move as far
I
as
could
that's
like
concerned.
have a crossbow and relive like my Buffy the Vampire Slayer days. Like that would be
Oh yeah,
fun.
you could be like the dude from Walking Dead. Just
Yeah.
walk around with a crossbow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah.
would look cool, but it'd be a little, actually, maybe people give me a wide berth because they probably think I'm super
Get the
big.
outfit.
So.
Did you watch Walking Dead? I watched some of them.
Yeah,
I
I
did
did.
see.
And it
Yeah.
just got super sad. And then you just
Yeah, it did. And then I was always wondering, every time they're in a city, I'm like, who is mowing the lawns? Why are the lawns not overgrown yet? Why is, that whole Earth Abides thing was not happening at a fast enough rate. But anyway, yeah, I could see that though. I could see you doing like the Laura Croft, the pistol crossbow. I could see you like having, that would work.
Yeah. So, and then I'm just kind of, well, maybe that's like what excites me because like I've been living in Texas for about 5 years and I love the vibe of Texas. I love like the attitude and the spirit. So I think that's like what I'm passionate about is kind of like going on that trajectory.
And you have Buc-ee's. I mean, obviously you go to Buc-ee's. I mean, you kind of have to.
They have
Yeah.
great bathrooms. I mean, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
please.
that's when you're on the road, you have to find a good place to poop. So
Right.
that's how I can rate everything.
Do not. I am striking that. Lauren does not poop. Okay, let's keep the mystery going here. Okay.
Oh, well, no, we have IBS, so the mystery's gone. Like it sailed a long time ago. Which is great because like I have another thing to talk about my customers with, especially like the older gentlemen. Like I had a colonoscopy like a couple years ago, and I told them that they're like, "Oh my god!" And so we have something to talk about.
You're finding the weirdest bonding moments with guys in cigar lounges.
Well,
how many
Fred,
medications are in your pantry?
I'm very limited because like I don't watch sports. I don't
Right.
about sport. I gotta find other things. I gotta find other angles to connect with customers.
Right. Oh my God. Do you feel so? As I'm not going to say just as at Micallef, but over the years, I mean, clearly there's more women smokers now.
Mm-hmm.
What other changes have you noticed? And maybe from that perspective, maybe not. What other changes in the industry do you feel have gone well?
Like changes. Ooh, I don't know. I still feel like I'm kind of a baby in the industry. So like I don't
But
really
you've been
know.
smoking, but you've been smoking a while. You've seen the lounges. I mean, there's definitely more women now.
Yeah, there is, and then there's not. I mean, it's still very much male dominated, I guess. But at the same time, as much as like, I would like to see more women smoking at the when I get older, I don't really care as much anymore. Like I just show up as myself. And that I mean, as soon as women are just recognized as just being another customer, I think that's gonna see a big improvement to that. And I think we're slowly getting there. I would see I would see there was more problems in the industry as opposed to like a customer base when it comes to cigars, honestly.
Okay, and you're no longer allowed to say as I get older because you're very young, so you don't get to drop
I have
that.
a birthday coming up. I don't know. I think I'm middle aged at this point. Isn't it like middle aged?
Okay, no, because I'm about twice your age, so let's not go there.
Well,
So
you look fantastic. I don't know how old are
yeah,
you?
it's filtered. I'll be 60 next year. So yeah, I know.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
see, I know, right? That's what.
Yeah.
Zoom probably has filters that make me look. In real life, I probably look totally different. So, I lost my train of thought.
Like the changes, like if there were changes.
Yeah. So you said more bad. Like what would you say? What would you say is a big threat to the cigar industry right now? Our culture, our way of life.
I think I think retailers need to be more responsible about bringing in the next generation 100%. I think that's the biggest threat, because I mean, at the end of the day, their main customer base are like older gentlemen. Like we need to start, getting the younger generation very excited about cigars. Approachable price points, I think, are a huge, crucial thing as well.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, when I started smoking cigars, and like maybe I wasn't their ideal customer at that point, that could be buying like boxes and boxes, but like you start out there, right? You get a cigar, and then eventually it becomes, and you get passionate about it, and then usually when you get older, you have more income, so therefore you can spend money on those types of things.
Right.
And then also, I think another problem is that retailers like don't understand who their customer is. I think there's this
Hmm.
fantasy out there about it's like the guy who's wearing the $5,000 suit with a Rolex. You know,
Right.
yeah, he can make it rain once in a while when he comes in, but it's the guy, it's the blue collar worker, it's the working class that are coming in there every day,
Right.
maybe buying two or three or a bundle every week. Like that is your customer base. And sometimes I get it, like everyone wants the like high end customer base because they think that's more valuable, but that's like such a niche, like such a
Hmm.
small section of the population, and
Right.
cigar
Right.
smokers are already very small as it is. Like we're such like a very niche industry. Like we need to be thinking about those customers in the younger generation.
No, I think that's a good point. I mean, how do you have that sustainability? How do you get, younger people within, obviously within legal limits of being allowed to
Yeah,
smoke?
and
The
it
big- you know
sucks.
the price barrier is a very good point though.
Mhm.
And it's increasingly becoming problematic because it's increasingly becoming hard to put quality cigars under a certain price point that are within that value for them, or that ability. I didn't smoke as many cigars when I was younger because it was expensive then. I imagine
Mhm.
proportionally it's much worse now.
Yeah, and like, and I get it. There's the Padron, there's the Davidoff, there's those sexy brands out there, but like that's not gonna be the starter smoker going. I never got into those, and then I started working at a humidor. I was like, well, why didn't I get into these brands? And then I saw the price. I'm like, this is why.
Right, 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 right.
So, uh,
What would you give somebody, what advice would you give to somebody that is considering coming in the cigar industry?
God, my advice. I mean, I think you have to have a level of tenacity, 100%, and grit, especially
Yeah.
if you're. And usually, when someone's getting into the industry, like the opening jobs out there are usually the smaller brands. So you have to
Hmm.
be very seasoned into accepting rejection, being consistent, and just going back in there time and time again. I think that's like my main, I guess, advice for that.
Hmm. Have you learned something big on the road this year? Like just,
Big
yeah, just like you're in shops more. Have you learned something? You're like, oh, okay, this is something I gotta focus on more than I thought. Or
That's a tough question. Like, what do I learn this year? It's I guess like every day is kind of like a learning experience necessarily. It's what did I learn this year? I think it's like kind of, you're building your own professional brand as well and being very
right.
mindful of that. You have to make sure you have to be very aware of that if with each shop that you go in there. It's gosh, I don't know how to answer that question.
It feels like one of those like review, you're up for review questions. Yeah, okay.
Like, what
I
do you
strike the
change
question.
this year? Like, where do you see
Yeah, yeah,
yourself in 5 years? You're like, oh, like I'm just making
yeah,
it day to day.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just hope I don't fuck it up each day.
yeah, yeah. What's your
Trying to
worst
get the
attribute? Yeah, what's your worst attribute? I'm too caring. I
oh,
work too hard.
I work too hard. Basically it's I think what I learned this year essentially is recognizing what good partners are like, what good businesses. You have to go into a shop a few times to kind of get like a temperature check of what kind of business they're running and
Right.
if that's something you want to be associated with. And
That's a big one. That's a really big one. I'm hearing that more and more, with particularly in the brands that are your size, is they're not looking for every shop, and you have to be comfortable going, this is not a good fit, because you don't want to put your cigar in a place that it doesn't sell. And you want somebody that's going to be behind your brand and behind the idea of the brand and something long term. That's interesting because that's something that that's definitely a learn thing you learn. Because in the beginning you're like, oh, I got to get my cigar everywhere, and I got to be
yeah,
in every shop, and that's not the answer.
yeah, and then also talking to retailers, customers, I think I realize is really important, 100%. And I'll hear about some cigar reps that they'll only go when the shop owner's there, and I get it. Like it's a taxing schedule. Like you can't. You sometimes you want to make those meetings like very productive, but like sitting with their customers and talking to them and talking about your brand and really connecting with them is actually going to be proved to be more beneficial in the long haul than always meeting with the retail shop owner 100%.
Right. And now when you do events, do you do predominantly cut and lights, or do you do all sorts of events?
I do a mixed bag. I do a
Yeah.
mixed bag. Yeah. And those can be crap too. Because like some shops, like, they're really behind you, you're selling boxes, and then some you're just like, can you just try one? Just like try it. You like it.
Yeah, right,
Like,
right, right,
and then
right.
you have to like shimmy, like you have to be high energy, shimming up to them. You're like, what are you smoking? Oh, you're smoking this? You're gonna like this too. And you just like throw it in their hand and like push them towards the register.
People real I always say what you do is really the hardest part of the cigar industry. I used to manufacture my own cigars. So I've been the guy that gets to just show up and be the event and stuff like that. But the people that are out there doing what you do, that's the hardest part because you walk
Mhm.
into a shop and, maybe you're meeting with the owner and they don't want to write you a check. I mean, even if your brand's moving, they don't want to write you a check. It's just, it's this dance
Mhm.
constantly. And every shop's different. You have to adapt to, I mean, you really have to think on your feet on, an event or whatever, because sometimes you're an event and the shop is well run and the owner has said, hey, look, if I'm going to take time for Lauren to come in, then, hey, buy a stock, stick, hear them out, see if you like the cigars type thing. And if you don't, that's okay, but give them a shot. And when you go there, those events are easy because they've been educated that way to come in there and go, okay, I'm going to try it. What do you got? And then you'll do some events where the retailer did nothing. The owner's probably not even there. And you set up on your table and you got the table skirt that's got there and you maybe got some swag or don't. And people just walk by like, hey, how's it going? And they just walk by and you're
Oh,
like,
just
hey,
gotta.
wait, did you notice this isn't always here?
No, that's why you gotta hunt them down. Like you cut them off.
It's
And
like
then,
the worst.
well, it is. And then, but that's like my responsibility. Like I don't, as much as I love having a retailer that has their shit together when I show up, I love it. Oh, it's just like so gratifying. It's really on my position to perform at that point. Like that's my
Right,
responsibility. I don't put that on them because I mean, I've seen it before. Like you're working an event and like some guys will just stand behind their table and they'll just point at things. And I'll show up in a short skirt and some fucking cowboy boots and I'm ready to talk to some people. Like I don't
right,
care. I'll sell a cigar. Like we're gonna bring the show. So that's just
right.
what I find responsible when I show up for an event.
And you're right. We said earlier, I mean, obviously you have to have a certain amount of meetings with the owner, but at the end of the day, the people that are going to move your cigars are the person that's working the register and the people in the lounge. Because if you
Yes.
get a couple people in the lounge, those are the people that when you leave will tell people, hey, you missed this event, go try one of their cigars. And it's not when you open up a shop, it's not the first order. It's the third order that you've got something. Because everybody will put in a first order, not everybody, but they'll put in a first order. They'll sell through their first order. They'll order a second order to refill what sold. When you get that third order, you start to get some traction.
Yes. Yes. And sometimes, it's just such a crapshoot sometimes because you're just like it's selling well and then you get the little orders and it's always making sure you're consistent enough so they'll always remember that you're there, something like
Right,
that.
right. Yeah, and I mean it's fun when you do an event and you kill it and you're like, okay, restock. Yeah, we're gonna think about what to restock. Like, I just sold whatever number of boxes. You have not almost nothing left, and now you got to think about whether to reorder. Yeah, it's you have the toughest job. You absolutely have
retail
the toughest job.
retail sales is very tough. Really tough.
So somebody's new to Micallef, or maybe they heard of him, maybe they tried him before, or they're new to him now. Where would you start them out? I mean, I know there's the mild, medium, full type characteristic,
Yeah.
but what would you tell them about Micallef, and what would you tell them that what should they be looking for?
I guess we kind of always start out with the story of the brand.
Hmm.
So our brand is a collaboration between two families. So we have obviously Alan Micallef, the name of the brand, he owns it, but the Gomez Sanchez family blends our cigars, and they're like three generations of cigar rollers. They date back to Cuba. Medalia, she's the matriarch of the Gomez Sanchez family. She used to roll for Fidel Castro back in the day and used to send her all around the world representing, Cuban cigar rolling artistry. So we have a lot of legacy in our brand. It's not just,
Hmm.
just a bunch of people just blending stuff that they like. We actually have
Hmm.
very good vision and direction when it comes to the quality of our cigars. We have our own factory. Al Micallef himself, he made his wealth in the manufacturer side of business, so he knows the processes of what makes something a successful product. So we took that ownership and we made it our own. We bought a Davidoff factory. We have our own factory. We're leasing farmland right now and growing our own tobacco. tobacco. So we're going to be like a one-stop shop soon enough. And so we have a
Right.
lot of control over the consistency and the quality of our product, which is, I think, like maybe some people don't have the option of saying that because, a lot of smaller brands, they have to get their stuff made for
Sure.
someone else. So our intention and our vision is very direct, and we are pursuing like the long game in that. And we also have a very significant portfolio. I think where we really hit our tempo in the last few years, or incline, so to speak, is from our colored series. We came out with the Micallef
Hmm.
Black in 2023, and the price points of that was $7 and $8, which was unheard of. There was a hole in the market.
Yeah.
No manufacturers
Yeah.
were making it, or there's a lot of, I guess, negative connotations with those price points, that they're like, oh, they're okay for the price point. We wanted to create cigars that were a great price point, and they are also a great blend. So when you smoke it,
Right.
you're not like, well, this is good for the price. You're like, no, this is
Right.
this is
This is
what the
good.
price happens to be. And it's a great.
Right. Right. I like that.
And we came out with them with the blue, we came out with the red and the purple this spring. We're coming out with a green in the fall, and we're coming out with a white the following spring, and then an orange the following fall, to really like round out that portfolio. And so like they're great blends at great price points for people to actually smoke and to just basically put that in their daily rotation. I think we're a pretty humble brand. We're not asking you to primarily only smoke Micallef. We just want it to be in your rotation because we know all
Right.
of us cigar smokers are very passionate about smoking all different types of cigars, and we want to be a part of that routine as well. And we also are very passionate about our retailers being successful. We've had so many conversations with retailers and our consumers to see what works, what doesn't work. We would have something that wasn't working, and our retailers gave us feedback, and we worked on that. So we worked on our packaging design. Our boxes aren't taking up the whole shelf space, 12 across or anything like that. They're stacked
Right.
high so that our retailers have a fighting chance to put those on the shelf, and for it not to take up a lot of room, but just enough space for us to, I guess, to showcase our products. And then also too, we don't sell to online retailers that are going to mark off our prices and discount our prices, because the thrive of the cigar industry, the cigar culture, is in the mom and pop shops. It's in the entrepreneurs, it's in the small businesses. That's the first cigar lounge that I walked into. It wasn't a Cigars International. I worked for them, but it's not that very intimate, very close niche experience. So we are wanting those retailers to have the option to thrive, have the option to have longevity, and to be here to stay. And we really value them a lot. So that's something we're very
That's,
passionate about as a brand.
that's awesome. Tell everybody how to follow you personally and and the brand for the website.
Yes. So MicallefCigars.com. That's where our website's at. And then also triple_Maduro on Instagram and on there. And then also Micallef Cigars as well. We do post on there as well. On
Great.
Instagram.
Thanks for hanging out. If you're watching this, definitely try the cigars. Great cigars that just happen to be at a great price point. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. See everybody later.
Thanks for having me.